thought find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest, life first career coach, founder of the Next Success, and helping next chapter explores to become authentic success creators. No other than Dr. Caroline Sangal. Welcome, Miss Caroline or Dr. Caroline on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm Carolyn Sangal. I first and foremost am a wife of almost 23 years, a mom to two children, and two cats. So
You
I'm
got.
specifically starting with things about me and my life because that's what I want other people to also be able to focus on. So many times we get so caught up in like what we're doing, we forget who we're being. And so many times in our lives, we can start to question, is this it? Is this really all there is? Or you could be successful by somebody else's measure and yet yourself feel not quite fulfilled, not quite satisfied, even though you may have awards, accolades, degrees. I have a PhD in science, polymer science, rubber, plastics, those things. And there was a chapter in my career where I studied cracks and how they propagated and how things failed. But I didn't do it because I wanted to break things. I did it because I wanted to be able to build things and make materials stronger. Now, here I am a few decades later than that initial chapter, and I do that with people because I understand how the stress of your life or the stress of your job can start to have a crack that if it's not arrested, if it's not dealt with, it can cause some sort of catastrophic failure, either in your performance, your relationships, or your well being. And so that is my focus to try to help people design lives that they love and have careers that fuel that life, not drain it or detract from it.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Dr. Caroline. Thank you so much. And let's talk about when success doesn't feel like success. Interesting. When success does not feel like success, can you describe what that disconnect actually feels like for high achievers?
Absolutely. So maybe there you've reached a goal or you have a degree, like I had a PhD, or maybe you've gotten some awards, or maybe you got a raise, or maybe there's some target that you're trying to achieve, and you work and work and work to get that thing. And then when you get it, it's kind of like short lived as far as the excitement or the fulfillment or the like, yeah, I finally did it. And actually, you either just focus on the next thing or you just kind of like it feels a little bit empty. So maybe you're doing really well in your work and that you go home and you might start scrolling on your social media, or maybe you start eating or drinking things that in excess, or maybe you just check out and sleep the whole time, or you just watching streaming platforms. But if you're watching this kind of streaming platform, that's good for you. But perhaps you're watching some other thing, and then there are people around you that you say are important, like maybe it's your spouse or your children or somebody in your life, and you're not able to show up for them joyful and fulfilled and absolutely loving that relationship because you're so exhausted by the things that you are supposed to do that you're not doing what you could do.
What are the most common external markers of success, but that often have the weakest correction to genuine internal fulfillment?
Yeah, so the strongest so many people, I'll say a career can be like an iceberg, right? So as far as if somebody sees an iceberg in an ocean and you see this picture and above the surface you see this massive structure, and that's usually what people focus on as far as their title, their job salary, the location, and you think, oh, that's it. That's what's successful is the title, the salary, location. As long as I'm making a lot of money or I have the right title, therefore, then I will be successful. But if you ever look closer at an iceberg and look at what is below the surface, you will see that the iceberg itself, actually, for as much as it is tall above the surface, it might be 4 or 5 times that below the surface. And so then what's really supporting that title, salary, and location? It's who are you? What do you do best? What do you love to do? How do you communicate? What is the mental chatter in your head telling you? Are you sabotaging or are you supporting the success that you want? And most importantly, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want that to look like? And what do you want your career to look like? How can that support the life that you're looking for, not drain it? So to me, I say below the surface, that can be supported by what I call the next success method, figuring out who you are, what do you do best, how do you communicate, what's the chatter in your head, and what do you want your life and career to look like.
Indeed, what would be your next career? Think for the best for sure. So, how did you differentiate this feeling of emptiness from classic burnout? Is it different kind of exhaustion?
Yeah. So it's an exhaustion that doesn't go away by more sleep. It's an exhaustion that even though there's external things going well, you start dreading getting up in the morning or going to work. Or the minute you leave work, you're like, ah, when you are feeling free and excited versus when you start to feel tense and it shows up in your body. And it can also, for me, it showed up as I didn't connect it at first. I started to getting high blood pressure. Then I had one medicine for it, then two, then three. I still didn't notice it. I thought, oh, I'm just getting older. That's what happens when you get older. And then I started, well, had always been not necessarily feeling feelings, going through them, but like eating. So I had stress or rejection, and then I'm going to like eat a whole bag of candy or something that I know is not good for me. And that I was doing it anyway, and not even necessarily noticing that I was finishing the bag of M&Ms or whatever. And also, I started having an irregular heart rate. So I would just sit and my heart rate would go up to 210. So I sounded like I am doing Lamaze breathing, like I'm giving birth, but I wasn't. I was just sitting there. So your body can have signs and signals that are telling you this isn't just regular tired. This is long term fatigue, exhaustion. Something can be done in your environment and in what you're allowing yourself to do and choosing to do so that you can have something that's supporting your performance, relationships, and well being and not draining it.
Interesting indeed, Dr. Caroline. And tell us, how does a constant pursuit of the next goal prevent people from ever truly feeling a sense of accomplishment or satisfaction?
Yes. Yes. So this is what I like to say is on the tip of something for your mental fitness and your mental resilience, and are the things that you're doing supporting or sabotaging your success. So in some ways, hyper achieving, constantly wanting to get to the next goal, in some ways that's helpful, right? Because you can get an award, maybe you get a higher pay, maybe you get some recognition, and so you could think, oh, well, that's good, it's good for me, it's good for me to hyperachieve. But when you're so focused on achieving that goal or that thing that you forget to enjoy the life that you're living, or you don't even take time to celebrate the success before you're constantly going to the next one, then that's an opportunity for you to possibly first recognize, yeah, I'm like that. And secondly, then choose, do I want to do something different about it? And there are ways so that you can manage what you're choosing to focus on and making it so that you can have both, and you can achieve that thing, but it's not going to come at the expense of your health or your relationships or your well-being.
Dr. Caroline, what is the first sign that someone might be achieving for validation rather than fulfillment?
Ooh, yes, I live this life. So when you're defining yourself based on just those things, and you're questioning or you're feeling less than if you don't have it or feeling not enough, like, oh, well, or comparing yourself to somebody else, these are all signs that you're kind of chasing something that ultimately is going to be letting you down.
On identity, values, and alignment, how much of this feeling comes from chasing someone else's definition of success, whether it's from family, society, or a previous version of yourself?
Absolutely. It's such a normal thing to do. What I've come to realize is there are normal stages of development, and that also goes to your career, right? So at the beginning, it's around age 18, 15 to 18, then it might be 22 to 26. And then every 7 to 10 years later, we naturally go through this part and this phase where we are questioning and we're saying, what could I do? What should I do? Is this it? I don't know. And at the beginning, we are listening. We're not necessarily so developed in who we are yet, right? In school, you just do what you're supposed to do. You get the grades that you wanted to get and the effort that you put into it. And then what, right? So if you're good in science, you're good in math, you're good in English, you're good. And then what? And what do you do with that? Well, you're not really sure at that age. And so then you ask very well intentioned, meaning people, whether it is parents or family or teachers or people that you trust. And then you listen to them because you think, they know more. Maybe they know more about me than I know about me. Maybe not, but you still do that. And then if you haven't defined or understood who are you, what gifts and abilities do you have, how does that line up to careers, you may just get stuck into that trap of living into somebody else's definition or somebody else's idea of what could be successful. And we have to pause, assess who we are, try to understand and develop that definition for ourselves. Who am I? What do I do best? What do I want to do? What is my mission, vision, values? If we don't do that, it's so easy to go into what the company you went for or what the person that you listen to, what is their mission, vision, and values. And what do you need to do to get a raise? What do you need to do to get a promotion? You become that thing. But then you could be misaligned, might not actually be true to who you are. And then you're going to start feeling it in your body, or you're going to start noticing it in the way that you're relating to other people. Maybe you are joyful, but all of a sudden you're short and snapping and angry and or eating or something else. You're not, you have to eat, but like eating too much, right? So it's something in excess. So these are all risk factors of following somebody else's version of what success means.
Dr. Caroline, what does it look like when someone's life is misaligned with their core values, and how can they begin to identify what those values truly are?
Yeah. So it looks like somebody who's ashamed, somebody who's not quite feeling it, like you're doing the thing and but you're not quite aligned. Like there was a time when I was in a chapter of my career when I was recruiting for the chemical industry, right? And so I would go to companies and help understand what did they need, and then go find maybe the 5 people in the world that had that skill set and that knowledge and try to make that match and that connection. And there was a time where I was starting to contact a company and they were making pesticide. Now, on one hand, I could place a lot of people at this company that's making pesticide. And me, myself, if I'm going to get a fruit or a vegetable, I don't want it to have bugs all over it, right? So I thought about it, but I had this feeling in my gut like, oh, something's not quite right. Because honestly, I don't want to feed my children food full of pesticides. That's kind of against what I stand for. That's kind of against from the natural viewpoint. So I had to ultimately choose to say no to recruiting for that company. and say yes to honoring what I felt true and what I felt was important to me. So, how do you find your values? You try to think about what are the things that really upset you, or what are the things that you go for? Like, are you don't like the injustice in the world, you or do you think pesticides are great because you don't have bugs all over your food, right? So like, you have to think about what are the things that excite you, what are the things that you're like, nah, not for me, not so much, and kind of start to sort those out. Or if somebody's truly questioning, I have an entire values assessment and things that we do go through, and I give you examples of like 30 different values, what the definition is, and you can start to sort out, oh, am I aligned with this thing or not aligned with this thing?
Interesting, Dr. Caroline. And how can high achiever untangle their sense of self worth from their achievements?
Yeah, this is definitely a work in progress. I like to kind of bring it back. Okay. And you got to remember, we're all made on purpose for a purpose that only we can do. And there, I'm made differently than you are. And we have different gifts and things that are poured into us, but it doesn't make me better than you or worse than you. And you kind of can, you could go back to, who do you think made you, right? Is it God? Is it the universe? Is it just science? But either way, you were given those things on purpose for a purpose only you can do, right? And it wasn't whether you, if only, it wasn't conditional, right? Look outside and see the grass, the flowers, the trees, all the beautiful things in the world that were necessary and needed to be there in order for you to enjoy and be fulfilled. And guess what? You also are necessary and needed for the world to be fulfilled. So your worth is not in question. You already inherently have value. And it is not for somebody else to decide whether you are or aren't good enough. You already are. You're here. You're here for a reason. And either you're utilizing that and allowing it to spread joy and make the world a better place, or you're muffling and hiding parts of yourselves, trying to conform into a mold that was never yours to fit into. These are the things to keep in mind.
Keep that in mind, people. And on the path of burnout and to clarity, what is the first step someone should take when they realize they are successful but unfulfilled?
Yeah. If you realize that, celebrate. Celebrate. Because this doesn't mean that everything's wrong. It doesn't mean you're burning everything down. It means now you have an opportunity to pause and to assess, what is it that you really want? What is it you really want your life to look like? You can design that, but you have to first see things as they are, but not worse than they are. And then you can start to plan. And if you want something different, you can start to identify that and define it and validate it. And then you can choose to get a map, to get a massive action plan of how you're going to go from where you are to where you want to be. That's what you do.
Can you share a simple but powerful exercise or question people can use to gain clarity on what fulfillment truly means to them?
Yeah, a simple question could be, what drained me today and what energized me today? Just start to notice. Like, what are, go, kind of go back and reflect on the things that you've done, the conversations that you've had, the tasks or activities that you were involved in. Which ones felt like, ooh, I love this. If I could do this all the time, I would be so excited. I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. And which one felt like, ugh, my gosh, if I have to do this for another hour, I don't think I'm going to make it. Notice those things.
Definitely. And how can someone distinguish between a temporary slump and a deeper calling for change?
Ooh, this is good. This is good. Does it carry over day to day, week to
Yes.
week? project to project, right? If you've been, complaining about people in your job or the things that you're doing or your company for longer than a day or a week, and it goes on, and now it's quarter to quarter, year to year, and you keep thinking, I should leave, I should do something different. Hmm, Probably these are just opportunities for you to kind of get on board and make that plan. But we can all be frustrated a little bit. We can all have things that don't go how we want them to go, and they're also there for our benefit. It's either a lesson for us to learn or an opportunity for us to kind of get better. So everything's happening for you. The question is, when are you going to get on board with that?
On practical shift and sustainable fulfillment, Dr. Caroline, what does a clarity look like in a practice for someone who's spent years chasing external validation?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I spent years chasing external validation, and by many, many people's definitions, somebody could have said I'm successful based on my resume, or based on my LinkedIn profile, or based on the awards that I had, or based on the things that I have in a house or family or children. And there was a time where my children didn't want to be with me. My husband didn't feel like talking with me because how I was showing up for them was contrary than what I actually wanted. And I was giving everything to work, and I was giving hardly anything to the people that I said mattered most. So, how are you in your performance, your relationships, your well being? And who are you satisfying? Somebody else or yourself? If somehow this is your last day and you've got 9 hours or 9 minutes left, what would you be doing? Who would you be talking to? That question can really start to put it into perspective of, are you chasing what's ultimately important for you, or are you chasing what's ultimately important for somebody else's bottom line?
How can high achievers redirect their ambition toward fulfillment without turning into another performance metric?
Ooh. So I believe you can consider 8 different factors. Where are you in your career development stage? What are your natural abilities? And if you don't know, I have an assessment to help you figure that out. What are the skills, the things you spent time, effort, and energy to learn? What are you interested in? What fascinates you? What is your personal style? Are you an introvert, extrovert, generalist, specialist? How is your communication behavior? All these things influence what could be a great fit for you. What family did you come from? What family do you have now? What are your goals? What are your values? I help people consider all of those factors at one period of time, roughly over the same couple, days or couple weeks, and then create a vision of, what do you want your life to look like? And then what do you want your career to look like? How can it fuel the life that you want, not drain it? These are all the approach.
Interesting indeed, Dr. Caroline. And how can someone navigate the judgment or expectation of offers when stepping off a traditional path?
Hmm. Yeah. So how to navigate. So somebody else is always going to be judging. You may also be judging yourself. And ultimately, you're the one living your life. You're the one. And so you can kind of, and maybe step back and be an observer of what's happening and realize, somebody else, they might be observing, they might think I should be doing something else. Okay, cool. And they are welcome to have that opinion. That is just fine. And they own that opinion. You don't have to take it on. You can be the calm in the storm. You can be the eye of the hurricane, and all their mess is right around you. And you just enjoy. And you know that at the end of the day, you are doing what you need to do. You are doing what you enjoy doing, and you're doing something that's allowing you to find your joy and fulfillment in the world.
Dr. Caroline, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well, geography 101 fourth season, and my baby podcast law 101 and mental health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 to be a Music 101 fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Dr. Caroline, if we could leave the audience with one piece of advice for anyone feeling successful but unfulfilled, what would it be?
You are right on time. Congratulations. You now have the opportunity to define what do you want your next success to look like. Boy, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for your future. If you need somebody to help you along the journey, I would be more than happy to support you and do all that I can.
Yes, indeed, Dr. Caroline Sangal. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Absolutely. Please feel free to check out my website, nextsuccesscareers.com. I also have a podcast available wherever you get your podcast. It's called Your Next Success. And you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at Next Success Method. I would be more than happy to help you.
Yes, people, let's support Dr. Caroline Sangal, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy to come. Dr. Caroline, thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you.
More to come, people. See you soon.